making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew, ha ha. Cold Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode? All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast presents Cold Street Brew also presents Brew Ha Ha. We got Sean McDonald on the mic.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? And
gals.
And gals. And we
beer lovers.
We do not discriminate on this podcast. What this podcast is two guys from Enumclaw, Washington, Pacific Northwest, lived in the same area. One started a podcast, one started a brewery, got together, and now we're deciding to do some podcasts. We're getting close to, we're in double digits. We're higher. We're in the high double digits.
Yeah. We've gotten enough out there that we can start inviting people, and people actually want to be on our show. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So we have a new guest in studio tonight.
Nice.
This is Luis.
Hello.
Luis.
So Luis is not a brewer, is not an owner of an establishment that sells brew. But Luis does have quite the pedigree. So Luis and I have known each other for quite a while. Luis is on my tasting panel. So anytime I put out a new beer, he's always one of the first people I go to.
Nice.
And that would be because, we do like a bottle share. We've done a bottle share for...
Oh, it's probably been close to 5 years now.
Yeah. Bottle share. We do bottle share once a week. And then also the other great thing is Untapped is a beer app. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's a beer app where you can check in beers. The easiest thing about it is when you go into a place and you're not sure what to get, you can kind of look up and you can see what your friends. So I know Luis's palate. I know my own palate, of course, but I've already had it. So that's where I have a little bit of respect for Luis because he has 2,219 check-ins.
Wait.
No.
Say that number one more time.
2,219 check-ins.
22,000 is insane.
No, 2,219.
100 things a day.
But I want to be clear that I have 2,625 chickens.
Wow.
Nice.
But I think we can both agree that we have at least another 1,000 that we didn't check in.
We didn't check in, yeah.
We don't check in the bullshit, that we get stuck with at times when we're at weddings or random places where they just shove a beer in your hand. Stuff. Like, oh, this is a beer. No, that's not a beer. That's a lot of things. And then on top of it, there's times where we forget or lose. So I also, and Luis believes in this too, you can't check in a beer if you don't have a picture of the beer.
True.
You can't
just have pictures.
You can't just randomly say, I've had this beer. Right?
Got to prove it.
That's right.
Got to prove it. Show me, don't tell me.
That's right.
All right.
That's how you have proof, right?
Yeah.
I like that
way. But it's a great app. It has it has Cold Street on it. So So Luis has had quite a few beers. We've had quite a few adventures, and then bottle share wise. That's where also why I invited him. So he brings some.
Brought a couple things, a couple of little goodies. Hopefully, hopefully we like them.
Yeah. So when we
you never know until you try.
When we get into these bottle shares for the people out at home that don't speak Brewinese that you guys have, what is bottle shares?
I'll let Luis explain that.
So typically, what we do with bottle share is everybody brings something that's kind of new or different or something you haven't had before. And everybody brings, it used to be a 22-ounce bottle, but times have changed. Now it's usually about a 16-ounce can. Something you haven't had. Everybody brings something. The more people you have, you end up with about 6 to 8 beers that are new. We give them a pop and see what happens. And,
so we all split it. So kind of the idea is like when you go to the store, they can be pretty expendy. So you're do you really want to take a chance on something? Maybe you know that brewery, maybe you don't, but then you name it, the name of it, you're like, that sounds kind of good, but you're kind of leery.
Right.
You bring it to bottle share, and then we all either have to suffer or we all have to, enjoy.
Oh.
That's the point.
And
right?
then you go back and get more if it's a good one.
if it's a good one.
Yeah,
If it's a good
okay.
one. We've had a lot of stinkers. That's the point, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
you don't know, especially this day and age. There's so many breweries and so many different beers out there.
Plus, I've been guilty of just buying by label art. If it's got a cool label,
Yeah,
I will
just
buy
roll
it.
with
I
it.
will buy it.
Yeah, a lot of bands put out beers. Those are never.
One of the ones he brought in, I said that's got a sweet little label on it, actually. That we're gonna have a little bit.
Yeah, I brought a couple.
So should we get into the beer of the week, or is this our beer of the week? Like,
Well, this is the beer of the week.
Okay.
We're just gonna do bottle share because that's what
Because I'm here. That's what I'm here for.
all
he
right.
brought the beer this time.
Okay.
I can't supply you with beer every time. Sal. Come on.
I know. This is Sean. He
But that being said, we did, we critiqued the red last week. So at the end of the show, we're gonna have Luis go through that and
okay.
have his
Shot.
breakdown on the
like
on the
that.
beer differences.
All right. So Luis, you brought some beers. Where are they from?
All right. So brought a couple goodies, hopefully. Brewery that I like a lot out of Nevada. It's called Revision. They started distributing up here maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, he came up in person, and
We met him at Cascades.
we did. Yeah.
So this is one of their newer ones. It's called Kitty Has Claws. It's a hazy. And so Revision does a lot of really great, mostly IPAs. They do a lot of beer, but mostly IPAs. And they are most of the time fantastic. So
Nice.
Brought that one. Then I brought another one that's kind of a local brewery. It's from Cairn Brewing. And I want to say it was, let me get the address here.
That's a CAIRN.
CAIRN.
Not a Karen.
Not the ones that
brewing,
call you out.
Yeah,
on
no,
where
not
they yell at you.
Cairn. And it is in Kenmore. So
Oh, okay.
I saw this,
Okay.
said, you know what? It sounds cool. I'm going to make a pilgrimage and grab a can.
I also want to point out,
Wow.
Luis is not originally from Washington State. He's from California. So
Okay.
there's sometimes where he has to,
Cali.
he doesn't entirely know
Yeah,
where
all right.
things are.
Makes sense. That's what Google's for.
That's right. I'm from Southern California. I'm from the high desert.
High desert. Now, for a year, I went to a Bible college, actually out in Temecula, Murrieta area.
Okay, not
perfect.
far.
Yeah.
Not far.
Okay, cool. Right on.
So yeah, Temecula, Murrieta is about an hour and a half. So that's out going towards San Diego off the 15.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing.
Not the I.
Everyone talks about how to get there. Like if it's how. I know that there's a Saturday Night Live skit out there. It's called The Californians or whatever, and it's the whole skit is them just talking about how to get someplace and where to take it and for how long. But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's
the
how
truth.
you know where to go.
Absolutely.
That's
So
funny.
yes. So yeah, no, I'm very familiar with the area. There's a lot of really good breweries in Temecula now.
I'm
They
gonna
are.
go. I might go down there
Temecula
and just
Brewing's not a bad one.
check things out.
Which one?
Temecula Brewing's not a
Oh
bad
yeah,
one.
and there's a Brewers Row in Temecula. They
Oh, yeah.
there's about 4 or 5 all on the same street. They made it real simple.
Really? Well, we're kind of doing the same thing.
Beer trip.
That's right. So
right.
I brought this one. It's called Big Bird. It is a blonde stout with glitter,
With glitter, edible glitter.
edible glitter. So it should be interesting.
Can't wait to get this lodged
Ve-
in my throat.
Vegas is a
It's
town.
not a party until you have glitter.
I'm gonna have to take a picture of it at some point and just see what it looks like.
And then check it in on Untapped.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm throwing out.
Download Untapped. Is it?
I'm throwing out Untapped because they're great people. They promote beer and they help out. So also in the whole, the downturn with the whole 2020 COVID thing, they reached out and said, "Hey, we'd love to promote any events or anything that we can do events. Any beers that you're putting out there, we'd love to promote it. You don't have to pay us. We're just doing it for you. They're nationwide. They're trying to help out.
Is it ED? Because there's one that's just
No,
D.
it's U. Oh no E. It's UNTAPPD.
D. Okay, cool.
There's no
Because there's one that says Okay, perfect. So I'm going there now.
All right. Listen to the goodness. I'm going to pass this
Wow,
around.
listen to that.
Oh, we're sharing the COVID.
This dude's been on a podcast before. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, as the glitter spills in my glass.
I know,
so we're doing
this
glitter
is-
right
no,
away.
this is not the glitter. This is the hazy.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, this is Revision. So, Revision. So, Luis and I, we do a lot of beer trips together. That's also why I had him on. He's very geeky like I am.
Wait. Before we get in, I want to talk about this. How do you guys met? How?
Oh, yeah.
At the brewery. So I first moved up here, decided I needed a local, I live in Maple Valley, and there's
Yeah.
there's no there's a brewery now,
Couple.
but
Yeah.
There wasn't at the time.
At the time, there was nothing. Came out to Enumclaw, had a beer at the at Jackson's, I believe, and she said, "Hey, the brewery's down the street."
That's when Amy was still working there. Amy owns Gold Creek, Gold Creek, I guess, over on the east side.
Oh,
She
cool.
owns her own business over there, but she was a great
so
promoter.
said, "Hey, go on down, check them out," and I became a regular. And then shortly after I started going there, Sean, I think, came on board and was brewing, and we just kind of hit it off. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then that's kind of what morphed into the bottle share right there. He came in and had some beer experience and was like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this. This is kind of our experiment right here." And then had him try it, and kind of grew from there. And so
yeah, and it was one of those. Hey,
5-6 years, give
I
or
could
take.
come in early, and before the official opening, I could bring a bottle, and we could share to get around the liquor laws.
exactly. Oh no, it's well within our laws.
Yeah, that's right. It's our R&D.
But anyway, as I was saying about the Revision, so Revision's owner is a current or a past owner of,
Knee Deep Brewing.
and we go to Knee Deep. Well, we did not do it this year. I missed last year,
Yeah.
but we go to Knee Deep. That's our first meeting spot when we go down for Planning of the Planning of the Younger. Every the second week of February.
This would have been Planning Week.
I know, yeah. We were messaging each other. That's also what made me think of when my other guest bailed on me. That bringing Luis on, bring on the Beer Geek rather than
So it would have been Planning Week. We go here. It's in Auburn, California. Knee Deep is this one here is from Sparks, Nevada. So he was the founder of Knee Deep. Decided to got an investor, sold that, and started a whole nother brewery in
so we
in
could
Nevada.
do more IPAs.
Right, to do what he wanted.
Yep.
So, and he's very happy about that. In fact, when we met him, that's what he said. So,
Yeah, for sure. He's super happy. Yeah, it's a hazy. Definitely can't see through it. It's it's got your New England style, good head on it.
yeah, it's juicy. I like it. Got a nice fruity aroma. So I like
sure.
this one a lot. It's one of their newer ones. They just came.
Fruity in the backside too.
Yeah. So I just got this one last week. I think they just came up to Washington State last week. So this
beer.
yes.
Wow. And hazies are kind of the ragey right now too.
For sure. They're
The hazy rage.
Yep.
So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I think it's pretty good. I just like I said, I just bought this last week, and it's kind of a juice bomb. I like it.
It is. This is definitely a. What I would probably drink this like. This reminds me of
This
like
is a breakfast beer right here. What are you talking about?
yeah.
So wake up. This is like orange juice in the morning.
It's like
Instead,
a mimosa.
have a little hazy.
I was thinking just like a noon beer, a chill beer.
Yes.
Like just like a Saturday where you're just gonna just be chilling. This is it.
Well, these are good for because they're. Well, I don't know about this one. I think this one might be a little heavy alcohol, but
It does taste like it's got a bit.
typically the hazies are like pounders. You can hot day. You can have multiples. They're just nice, easygoing, relaxing beers, and they're not. They don't tend to be real heavy and like a stout.
It's because it came from the East Coast where they don't know anything about bitterness. Just so we're clear.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Where West Coast is the hophead coast versus the East Coast is more. They started with lagers and they just wanted to add a little bit more flavor to it. So they found when they made the hazy, it kind of sweetens it up. That's kind of the basis of where it came from. Kind of gets it juicy, kind of like an orange juice, like a something like that,
is
like
the
a mimosa
typical,
sort of thing.
Typical New England,
Love it.
juicy hazy.
Yeah. But this one is higher on the alcohol for sure.
Yeah. What would be
I'm
that?
gonna say it's 8.
I got it right next to me.
Can
Okay, what's
read
your
the
guess?
label.
What's your guess? Let's just do a little taste.
6.5.
6.5, and then we'll do IBUs, or will you know IBUs off of the percentage?
You
Well,
should not. You would
it's-
not be able to. But juicies, IBUs kind of go out the window because you're talking with juice and not.
Yeah, they're that when they make the haze, it's not necessarily what hops they're putting in for the IBUs. They're putting in more for the juice kind of.
Right. It's got the
Aesthetic-
acid in there, but
aesthetic,
you're not. You're not getting it on the flavor.
So it is. You guys did a good job. Both
Right
of
in
you,
between?
by being right in between. It is a
7.
7. It's a
Yeah,
It's a
I was gonna
7%. Yes. So I kind of like how you guys. This is where bottle shares work out well. Is that you guys, if one person thinking one thing, another person thinking another thing, you combine those two. They talk themselves into the middle, and there you go.
Yeah, it's but that's what bottle share is all about. Because in addition to knowing about beer, it brings in a lot of people that aren't big beer people, and they can kind of
we can help them through it too, because a lot of sometimes people bring in beers, us that are beer lovers, will love it, but somebody else, like if they just randomly blind tasted it, they go, oh my god. You have to kind of ease them into that. Even this hazy, I mean, it's on the stronger side of a hazy. You have to let them know that this is going to be a really juicy, strong flavor to it. Like,
so let me ask, when it comes to bottle shares and sipping or chugging, you go to
no chugging.
Now, I was going to say, when you go to, when you go to a wine tasting, right? Most people are probably more used to going to a wine test. Even if you're not a wine drinker, you get pulled there by your spouse, or it's some like bachelorette party or whatever you're doing.
Are you the dancer at this?
Yeah, I'm the
party?
dancer at this. Yes, I come out of the cake,
right.
and so they sip it, and so when bottle shares, are you going there just to chug and just go crazy? Or
No. So like I said, everybody brings, or like Louis said, everybody brings a bottle, and then we're splitting it. So how many people are there depends on how many bottles will be there. But if there's 8 people, we get 8 beers, but then it's split between 8 people, right? So you're only getting 3 ounces, 4 ounces, not even that, split between those people. So you're just getting enough to try it. So then you can decide if you like it or if you hate it, right? That's the greatest thing about bottle share.
Yeah, and the other thing is some of us will bring like multiple, so you bring 2 or 3. So we'll end up with a collection of close to maybe a 12-pack.
Yeah.
So, and some of them can be high octane. So you can end up with a nice little buzz just from the sipping.
And we like to organize them so you go from light to dark, and low alcohol to high alcohol. So at the end, you're drinking.
Basically, you're sipping it, you're tasting it, you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to? This is just. I know you had said 3 ounces maybe because you're sharing it with everybody. Have you ever bailed on one? You took one sip and you're like, I'm not ruining the rest of my day with
that's
this.
the other great thing about it. Like, you're weeding out the stinkers. You're grabbing the good ones and you're dumping out. That's the greatest thing about the bottle share, because, like I said, you don't know. A lot of times it's a great brewery that has a reputation. You're like, oh, this is going to be a good beer. I know this brewery, and then you get it and you're like, nah, that's not what I was expecting. That's not what I want to have. And open to just dump it. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is what I might like or Sean might like, someone else
for sure.
would think it's terrible. So it's fine. They go, hey, I appreciate it. It's beer, but it's not for me.
Yep.
Wow. Toss that.
Yeah, but that's also introducing people to new beers, so they at least they dip their toe in it, right? There's a lot of people that come in like, I only drink these light beer, and then we're like, dip your toe in this. And a lot of times then after they've dipped their toe in a couple of times, then they kind of get used to it, and they start, actually opening up their palate and start thinking about, having different beers. Yeah.
So
it's experience.
So is there any point where as everyone's sipping and enjoying it, that the majority of the people have ever just like, this is tasty. We
have the scores.
Like
we have the weekly scores.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's usually some consensus.
There's a winner. There's a winner every week.
Yeah. Now, do you guys have like a cheat sheet, like a Yahtzee? I think of like a Yahtzee, like peel off.
Well, we do a board at the end of the day where we put our names and what we vote for, and the beer that has the most. We haven't done this yet, but we've been thinking about doing some type of reward if you brought the best beer there.
Now, do you try the beer prior to the bottle share, or do you want to be
try
all
not
surprised?
Try not to.
What we try and do is like bring in something you never tried before.
Okay.
That way you're trying it for the first time too. So that way you're explaining the brewery, you're explaining the label. We like it if people read everything on there, so they can kind of say, this is from Temecula, this is from, the Midwest, something like that. So we get the idea like, oh shoot, this is something we probably, never even seen before,
Wow.
But other than that, yeah.
So the bottle shares, you may have said it, but we're packing information in everyone's ears right now. Just packing it in, wedging it in.
We used to do it every Wednesday.
There we go. That's what I was asking.
Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. So it was kind of like early in the day, so it's not super crowd. If we did it on a Friday, it'd be way too busy. But we've been, with the new podcast sort of thing, we've been thinking about, possibly doing like a kind of a live sort of thing.
That'd be great. That's a great idea.
And then also, then that throws out like people bringing in, we get some more people participating because
that would be nice.
Both Luis and I are all about like, it's not a quantity thing, but it is like just the experience thing, like getting some, different flavors out there and like finding out these different beers. That's why we're both really active on the Untapped. We're always looking for, the new.
I downloaded it.
Different beers.
I was setting up my my account while you guys were talking.
I'm Sean with beer in his beard.
Beer in his beard.
Beer in his beard.
Yeah.
And then what's yours?
Mine is I think it's just Luis Castro.
Yep.
I have no imagination.
And Luis, what's your Pokemon Go guy?
I've never done Pokemon. My son does.
I bet his son does.
My son does.
Anyway, I had to throw that joke out because we're nerds.
And I just booted you out. You were in there for under 5 minutes.
That's true.
Boom. Done.
That's true.
Done.
I feel like I know that Luis has finished his. Should I be catching up on mine? Or we
no. Wait. Go at your own pace.
I should. I am. So Luis, while I'm sipping a little bit, let's get a little background on you. Brief history on who you are, where you grew up,
and why you're beer. Why you're beer.
And then why you're back up at why are you in Maple Valley, Washington? Let's talk a little bit there.
All right. I'm Luis. I grew up in Southern California, but ever since high school, I've been kind of a nomad. Joined the Army, went kind of Hawaii, East Coast, and ended up in the tech industry at the .bomb era. Right. So I was in Boston when it was cool to have any company you want to just call it something .com.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so ended up at the in carriers, global voice and data carriers, and kind of did all that, got into software development, and decided that the cold was not for me, right?
Okay.
Southern California boy, and Boston, it snows a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
after my about my 5th or 6th winter, didn't break my back, told my wife we got to go back.
Sure.
So came back to Southern California, did a work from home thing for a number of years, and then our product got sold to a new company. And they bought a company here in Bellevue and said, "Guess what? We want you to come up here and do the manage the office." So, I liked my job, so I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I ended up here. But and like Sean said, I'm a beer fan. Southern California, kind of 10, 12 years ago was kind of beer mecca.
Yeah.
So you could spend the afternoon on Saturday, Sunday, driving all over the place, hitting as many as you could, and there was fewer back then, so you could actually get a decent list and go, I can check these off. Right now, it's like every corner, but so moved up here and decided to find a new local, like I said, and there's a lot of really good breweries up here. So just took me a little while to find them.
So let me ask you this then, real quick. I'm going to rapid fire you, if that's okay.
All right.
Okay. Favorite NFL team?
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep. America's team.
We're gonna unpack this. Favorite MLB team, baseball team.
I would go with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because
hometown
team.
Okay. Favorite basketball team.
The Lakers.
The Lakers.
Back
Okay.
down south.
And then, since we asked that, what was your did you play any sports growing up? Were you not a sports guy?
No, definitely was a sports guy. I played baseball, and I soccer was my thing. That was
soccer was it.
Yeah.
So do you follow then the MLS?
I do follow the MLS. I was a Galaxy fan. I still kind of am, but the Sounders are pretty
Sounders
good.
are it. Have you been to some Sounders games?
I have been to the Sounders game. In fact, we went to one. It wouldn't have been 2020. It had to have been 2019.
For sure.
A friend of ours from California who's also a big fan, the Galaxy were playing, so he came up here and got us all tickets so we could watch the Galaxy play the Sounders.
Oh, wow. That's
nice.
It was actually an experience because apparently, soccer fans can get rowdy, apparently, they say. So they put all of us Galaxy fans in one little pie-shaped little section up at the top, and we weren't allowed to even leave our section at the end of the game until the entire stadium was cleared.
Oh, for real?
Right. So it was interesting. It was fun.
So then, other than MLS, do you follow any other soccer out there? Like even the reason I ask is because my cousin's like super into soccer. He'll wake up at 4:30 a.m.
to watch the EPL. Yes. So yeah, I was a Manchester United fan for a long time. But like I said, once the MLS came up and give them a few years to kind of get better. Now I enjoy watching American soccer.
That's
I'm
awesome.
still a Manchester fan, but I just like soccer. Grew up playing it since I was like 5. So
Awesome. And then what was your position? I mean, were you the wing? Were you the
I was the defender. Here's where I'm going to date myself. If you know anything about soccer, I was a sweeper, which is
I remember
the
sweepers
last,
when
last position on the
yeah.
defense. That position I don't believe exists anymore.
It probably doesn't, but everyone wanted to be the sweeper because you could just clear it out, and then you could also kind of hang midfield a little bit too.
That's right. You were in charge of making sure everybody was in their spot, and you just kind of hung out and just cleaned up the garbage.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my position.
And then I know that I'm kind of jumping around right now, but been in the Northwest for how long?
I've been up here 6 years. 6 years.
At least 5 years.
Wow. Okay, cool. All right. Sorry. I just had to just kind of get a little
No problem.
break into your brain. And then real quick, because I was in IT as well at some point in my life. Do you like agile? Do you like waterfall? Like what are you?
Well, here's how long I've been doing it. I was doing it waterfall, and then we went to agile like everybody else, right?
So I was a Scrum Master for a year.
Oh, perfect,
Yeah,
yes.
certified Scrum Master. And I don't know. Do you guys use Scrum and Agile and all that?
Oh,
Your
yes.
guys, and do you have a Scrum Master?
We have a Scrum Master. We have the Scrum calls daily. Yes.
Have you been a Scrum Master?
I have not been a Scrum.
Do you feel this is nerd-ish for me because I love this stuff? Do you feel a Scrum Master is an essential job? Or wait,
Well,
are
it's
we
just like a janitor.
Are we talking
You have
work
to have
right
them.
now? Should we not be talking
Well,
about some of the stuff?
If it's an essential job, if it's your job, right? If
Yes.
you're a developer, you hate that guy.
I know, I know. You're used to being. I mean, as a Scrum Master, you were loved and hated by everybody.
You manage the schedule.
Yeah. So, and then that's a rugby term too. Did you ever get into rugby being a hockey guy?
Oh no, not me. No.
Okay, all right. Or not a hockey, a soccer guy.
No,
Did I say
too
hockey?
too fragile for that.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was my questions. Thank you very much, Luis, for letting me pepper you with those.
So back to beer.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, because it is brew.
I like
But that's
learning
fine.
about
It's
people.
Getting into Luis, back to like Luis and I go on trips several times, and he brought up like he's from Southern California. Obviously, he still has friends down there that I like to consider my friends as well. So every year we do the Pliny the Elder. Or, God, I keep saying that. The Pliny the Younger. Sorry. Pliny the Elder you can get year round. Pliny the Younger you can only get the first 2 weeks of February.
Correct.
And so we do that trip together. And he had talked about how he came up here not knowing that we had as many brewers as we had, or they expanded as, they've obviously grown in the last couple of years. And so when we take that trip, we like to bring down beers from here. And then our friends from Southern California, they bring up a lot of great beer from Southern California as well. And then we meet in the middle and we go to the trip. Obviously, we're not always at the brewery. We got to go back to a hotel at some point. But then when we're at the hotel is when we start pulling out. We start pulling out of the cooler. And we always have, both sides always have the one that's hidden on the bottom. And like, oh, no. I got something better than that one, right?
It's a fun game. It's a fun game.
It's a fun game. Yep.
Wow. So this is where people the bragging comes into play, where you
Well, this is where, so it's kind of more of a fun thing, right? So it's not the bragging. This is where you go, hey,
Experiencing the beer.
I would love
Stuff
to
that you
have,
can't get.
Right. You
Both
go,
sides.
hey, I would really love to have this one beer. I hope they bring it up. Right. And when he pulls it out of the cooler and you're like, that's the one I was waiting for.
Yes.
So like, I think a few years ago, you wanted the Skull Cracker
Yep.
from El Segundo, and Tyson brought it up.
Yeah, a little story on that. So I was doing a tour at Sierra Nevada, and I ran into what's the wrestler's name?
Steve Austin.
Steve Austin. Yes. It was super weird because
wait, time out. You actually ran into the
So I was doing the Beer Geek Tour at Sierra Nevada, which only happens every third Friday, so once a month. And it's Beer Geek, so they take you behind the scenes. They show you everything that only beer people would be super into, especially brewers. Like, even if you're just a beer person, you're not going to be into it. Like a brewer, this is stuff that you're into.
Yeah.
And they have two groups going at the same time, but you kind of transect each other in hallways and stuff. And you walk by, and the guy, and I'm like, I think I know that guy. I think I'm not big time into wrestling. You know, our mutual friend
Yeah.
Craig is big time into wrestling.
Earmuffs, Craig.
And being that I hang out with him occasionally, it kind of rubs off on me a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Kind of. I don't really.
little
I'm
bit,
still not into it, but either way, I'm like, I know that guy, and and then at some point we ran into each other and actually talked to each other, and he's like, yeah, so I'm doing I'm investing in a brewery, so I came on this Beer Geek tour to look the behind the scenes and grow from there, that sort of thing. And then it was great. And then like the next year he opened that brewery. I forget what that.
It's called El Segundo Brewery in El Segundo, California.
In El Segundo,
Wait,
California.
it's
there you go.
the same thing. There's no playoff of his.
Well, Skull Cracker.
Skull Cracker.
Well, that's
There's
true.
there's several beers on there that have different plays on it, but Skull Cracker's the one that's
But his
standing out right
actual
now.
name, though, is just based off of the
So
location.
the brewery existed. They brought him in as an investor after the fact because they were a really small place. In fact, the first time I went to them was many years ago. They were in a place not much bigger than this. They only had like 4 stools. So you had to go in there, and it was like standing room only, and it was directly across the street from Gene Simmons' restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
they were not kid friendly, and so I had my kids. So my wife, we ate dinner at Gene Simmons, and then they got dessert while I went across the street to
Had
have
a beer.
adult dessert,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I could see them through the window, and we were waving. So they decided to get a bigger spot, and so they got some investors, and Steve Austin was one of them. So now they got a bigger spot, like a much nicer place, and the beer is still on point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Skull Cracker, you got the Skull Cracker, you talked to him,
Yeah.
and then
So he brought up, I want to say 3 bottles.
Yeah.
We shared a bottle, and then I took 2 home as well. And so then that's always a fun conversation of like us traveling with beers. So if anybody knows, like there is a weight limit
There is a weight limit.
that you can carry.
It's 50 pounds,
Yep.
and I can tell you how many bottles that is.
Yep.
That's
And then sometimes we have a little variance where like, I don't know, is this going to make it or not? But we've also had some mishaps where every time you bring something like that, you're going to get checked. You have that little note in your bag that says TSA has looked at your stuff. Unfortunately, when we pack our bottles, I put my bottles in socks because then they don't rattle against each other. They don't do that sort of thing. The drawback is one time Luis brought down cans as well, and then bottles, and then
they moved it
unfortunately,
around, yeah.
TSA moved it around. And they don't put it back the same way that you stacked it, and then so that's why we also always bring like a keg cup so we can just if your bag's wet. Something's leaking, and then you're like, you pop it, like, is there anything left? And then we just have to
drank it,
do a quick drink. Yeah. That's the same with the weight thing. If you get to the counter and they say you're overweight.
Had to do that with Terry this last time. I ended up a couple bottles heavy, and he and I got some beer at the airport. Yeah. Just said, give me a few minutes, and
Terry from
popped it open.
From Boots Tavern, Boots Bar in Black Diamond.
Black Diamond.
nice, right on. Well, let's
try this.
let's crack the glitter.
All right, so this is it's not a party till glitter gets here. So here it is. This is called the Big Bird.
Ooh.
And I believe they brewed this in honor of the new year.
All right.
For 2021.
Hey, don't look at the I want to test you guys on the ABV again.
All right, I won't look.
It's probably going to be low. You can't have glitter in a strong beer.
So this is a blonde stout. So it looks it looks kind of like a milky or dirty,
it's
pale
definitely a little
ale.
dirty.
But it smells and tastes like a dark beer.
It's definitely got particles floating in it, but that's the glitter.
They're glitter
aspect.
particles. Look at it in the sun or the light rather.
You really.
You got it. Yeah.
You got the bottom.
Yes.
You guys should have
I
shook
think
this
we
up.
should have shook
I'm
it up.
drinking this whole. I'm drinking this whole thing.
That goes against.
You're going to have the prettiest shits in town.
That goes against all beer
Come
geek knowledge to shake up a beer before you drink it.
What's the what's the glitter content that I just got?
I don't know, like at least a 6th grade 12-year-old girl's backpack.
It's for sure.
That's a good one for Untapped. You can take the picture and show everybody.
That's what I'm going to do
Oh,
for sure.
But good and sweet. Yeah, there's a.
I would definitely take a movie so you can see
definitely
the
the
glitter movie.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that
Definitely
thing where it
stout.
goes back and forth on Instagram.
Almost a little bit of a vanilla type
Yes,
flavor.
so I
saying?
think if you read the can, they put birthday cake flavor in
Oh,
it. So
that's
the
what it
part
is.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I get that, but I do like the stout portion of it. It's got a nice chocolatey finish.
It's got a nice head on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's very viscous.
it's murky.
Yeah, and slimy kind of. But yeah.
But it's a gimmick beer. It's a gimmick beer. It got me up there.
Yeah, it got you
Yeah,
about it.
I didn't even know where Kenmore was until I saw that beer, and I was like, Google Maps, I'm going.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Well, I'm posting
somebody reach
this
out
right
and
now.
tell us what else is in Kenmore.
What else is in Kenmore?
What else is in Kenmore?
I think maybe can't recall if it's that town or the town right next to it. I did Whirly Ball. Did you ever play that?
Oh, I've heard it. Oh, yeah. You're on a
Bumper car.
and then you have like remember the things back in the
Like a
the,
Hialeah thing.
Yes, when you were like 80s and the 90s, well, at least when I was, you were younger than me, but you'd have the plastic like
It's like a banana shaped thing you paddle.
and it had like a styrofoam ball.
I have no idea
that
what
you would
these people are
throw
trying to
and
describe.
catch. And so you're driving this thing and you're just trying to throw it into goals.
Yeah, you shooting it.
Dude, that was fun.
We did that for our company party, not this last year, but in 2020.
Yeah,
or in
'cause
2019. I'm sorry.
Because you couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
in 2020.
right. So this is in December of 2019. So I believe if
I'm
it's
nervous
not-
to drink this, by the way.
Oh, I think you might like it. Okay. It's not in Kenmore. Might
definitely
be
gonna
the
shit
town next
glitter.
door. Yeah, your
piss
shits
glitter.
are going to be pretty.
Piss and glitter might be
They're
weird.
going to be sparkling.
There is so much glitter in this.
Yes,
Dude, like, that's all glitter.
you got all glitter. Yeah,
That tastes good.
it is. It's good. It's a stout. It's a
sweet.
stout.
Yep. It's a sweet.
It's a sweet stout. I mean, it is. But it's the birthday cake flavor that they put in,
yeah,
which
it's
they
not
shouldn't
really
have. They didn't have to.
Trying to think of the style of stout. I mean, it's not really a milk stout. It's, I mean, just
It kind of tastes like a
Stout.
milk stout a little bit. At
Yeah.
least mine does, because it's all glitter. Yeah. This
I
looks
thought
like
yours tasted like rainbows and happiness.
yeah.
yeah.
If you guys want to know what this looks like, go to your local like Rite Aid or Target and then pick up that glitter glue and just say,
Yep.
"This is what Travis is drinking right now."
Yeah. For sure.
That is so much glitter. Anyway, this is. Have you had glitter beer before?
Yes.
I have. Yes.
Yes.
It was a trend, a big trend about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. There's another brewery in Southern California that kind of pioneered it. They're called Three Weavers. And
yeah.
they kind of were the first people to do it. And
They have some
it's-
good beers.
They have really good beers, but it's a
I
gimmick.
don't think their glitter beers were their best beers.
No.
They had some better beers than that, but yeah.
But I actually have a slight weird connection to the head brewer, the owner there.
Yeah.
So she was our head brewer at my local in Southern California. And she left to start her own brewery with her, I think her fiance at the time. And so fast forward a year or two, we're at the GABF. Have you ever been to the GABF, or do you know what I'm talking about?
We just talked about it a couple podcasts ago.
Oh, the American
Great
Great
American
American
Beer
Beer
Yeah, yeah,
Festival.
okay.
Sorry, we break it down. We
Yeah,
don't.
we go with acronyms.
Yeah, we don't like to say that whole thing the whole time.
The Great American Beer Fest, we're there. They have a massive
display
or
and, stand
counter
up stuff, all kinds of
so
stuff.
you go up
yeah.
there, and we tried all our beer, and we were a little tipsy, and my sister's like, "Hey, I remember you. You know, we were at Kinetic, which was the brewery. We were at Kinetic. We were regulars. You were our brewer. Blah blah blah." And apparently, she didn't have such a good time at that brewery, so she was not very happy to see old fans.
Oh,
So it was kind of weird. It was a little bit weird. So my brother-in-law was not allowed to drink their beer for a year.
Oh, really?
But I didn't mind because the beer was still on point. Really good beer.
Yeah, speaking of brother-in-law, Tyson Beers, best last name ever, but shout out.
Yeah, that's his actual last name. They love him at the beer fest. So if he wears a shirt with his name on it,
Yep.
because it says beers.
And he's also a defense attorney.
He's also a defense attorney, so he used to specialize in DUIs.
used to.
So we would go to the beer fest with shirts that say, "Have you had too many beers? Well, Beers has your back," and then it would his number. If you have a DUI issue, call him.
Beers has your back.
That's right. So
All right, so we got the big bird going. What would you guys say, real quick? Take a sip if you want again. What's the ABV, would you say, on this puppy?
Say it's pretty low. It's like middle road 5, maybe 6 at the most.
No, I'm not even sure. Maybe 4.8, 4.9. It seems really light.
Seems low.
It's really sweet.
It's really sweet for sure.
Surprisingly, it's higher. 6.5%.
Wow.
6.5,
That's higher than I thought.
Yeah. And
So
the
it's
funny
sneaky.
The funny thing is, what was this? What did we say? It was a 7%.
But you got all of that
You
out of that
tasted
hazy.
the alcohol in the hazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the IBUs on this one is 30, the first one, and then IBUs is 50. Again, it's
50 in the stout? 50 in the
No, 30 in the 50 in the stout, 30 in this
Hazy.
So some of the IBUs is coming from in the stout is coming from the grain, not from the actual hops.
Okay.
A lot of people always think it's always from the hops, but with the stout, there's a little more grain to it, so it's like that it's the astringency. It's kind of the body of the grain. When the water hits it, it separates, so it's still in there.
I see.
That adds a bitterness.
But still not bad.
It's not bad.
I drink it again. It's just kind of weird. I could go without the birthday cake flavor, but it's still
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And the glitter, I know it's a gimmick, but the flavor of the beer is
I'm
fine.
so nervous on this glitter right now. I feel like I'm going to get like freaking it stuck in my lungs and I'm done.
You're going to turn into a unicorn.
That is
For sure.
I didn't even know that there was glitter, edible glitter until like a week ago when I was watching some TikTok. Cool credit to me for being so cool. And
No. TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
He's a techie guy. Oh, you're.
He gets a pass from me, Paul.
yeah. So anyway, I saw it. I'm like, whoa, they actually have edible glitter. But you guys are like, oh yeah, it's been around for like 2 years, guys. Like, come on.
More than that.
But I know more than that. But
Like Vegas? Come on.
Yeah.
There's been glitter that's been eaten for decades.
wait, is that edible glitter? I thought that was just regular glitter.
It's
sure
edible.
it's been eaten.
At some point, it's edible.
It's kind of like every storm drain has got a solid 5 inches of glitter in it.
At some point, it's edible. I feel like you could say that about everything. So from now on, if you guys look at it, if you think about it, if you've seen it, it's edible.
At some point.
At some point, it's edible. All right. So what's up next for your guys' next bottle shares?
I was going to talk about like what's your favorite story of like adventures?
Oh,
Oh, you know what? I think you brought one up to me earlier.
That was a good
you
one,
reminded
right?
me. So, Sean reminded me. So my very first Pliny trip. Oh, it was probably 10 years ago, and there was only 4 of us. I think it was my brother-in-law, my father, myself, and a friend of mine. And we went up there, and we had no idea about how to time it out, how to hold your, set it up,
And how strong
the beer.
the younger is.
So you get
the younger
there.
is strong.
We got up in the morning, and we got in line at, I think, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., something crazy. And it opens at 11. We got in there. We got the absolute last seated table that they had because we didn't know enough about how the line worked. Right?
Yeah, everybody gives us crap about getting up early for that, but you have to time it because
Yeah, if you don't, well, now if you do,
Now
if
there's
you
2
miss,
spots.
if you miss the first seating, it's a minimum of 3 hours before you get in because you're allowed 3 hours.
Yep.
So
And
at the
people
time
just hang
though,
out.
we didn't know, and they didn't have as many rules, and we're like, hey, we're in a good spot in this line. You're counting people, we're good. Well, that was back before you had to be in line to get a band. So they would get in there, and then one guy's
person
holding the
there.
spot for 20 people.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
that.
and
pop
the
in.
line suddenly starts lengthening.
And
right?
and the
That's
tap
how-
room only holds 75 people total.
Right, and their tap room is small. It's in the middle of town.
Yep.
So, anyways, we get in there, and the youngers, you get 10 ounces. You get 3 10-ounce pours, and they are super smooth. They're a triple IPA, and you just pound them down, and then
12.8%.
yeah, it's
12.8%, and it feels like it's
and
5.
it feels like nothing. You just pound them,
Really?
right? So if you go fast and you're like, wow, I'm feeling great. Well, it hits you, and then we got the flight. And their flight is known. It's about 24, 25 beers.
It's huge, yeah.
It comes like a little
With it.
suitcase.
Yep.
It's got
big.
every kind of beer you can think of, from sours to IPAs, stouts, everything. So
Yep. One side's American side, the other side's like sours and foreign sides.
Yeah, so we went in there. We had our 3 obligatory Pliny's. We did a couple of regular Pliny's, a couple others, did a flight, had some pizza, and said, we're good.
Wow.
Let's on to the next, right, fellas? Let's go. We went back, and we got some beer to go back to the room, because we were going to take a break for like an hour, and we kept drinking.
Yep.
Well, this was the first year. We didn't know about that. So we kept drinking. So we get to we go to a couple places, and for the evening, we said, well, we're going to go to Lagunitas. It's in the next town down. It's a great place.
California.
And we're like, all right, let's go to Lagunitas. So we get there, and it's packed, and we kind of have to. Luckily, there was a nice couple that had a big table, and they let us sit there because they felt sorry for us. And
these guys need a seat. They can't stand on their own.
We were pretty drunk, and we were having a good time drinking. And Victor's there, and we're sitting next to him, and he's hitting on the woman the whole time. Only right past the woman is her husband.
Oh,
right?
no.
Oh, no. They could tell he was faded.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, Victor, we were
harmless.
Completely harmless.
Entertaining,
nice guy.
but harmless.
So we were all just having a good laugh.
Yeah.
And the woman was even laughing. It was funny. So anyways, we decided, hey, we are not going to be here again. Let's go hit the gift shop. So we all go to the gift shop, and we're good like Boy Scouts. We go in pairs, right? We go in there, buy all our shit, and we kind of finish off our night, go back to our hotel. And so we didn't plan very well then. We used to basically hit the brewery, and then the next day we drive home. It's like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
So we drive home. We get going early. So we're packing up the truck, and everyone's pulling out all their shit. And Victor says, "Damn it, I didn't go to the stupid gift shop at I'm losing my train. Oh, Lagunitas, right? Says, I didn't go to the gift shop, and I promised someone a shirt. And I can't believe it. I literally reached in the back, pulled out a brown bag, and said, no, this is your bag.
This is your bag.
You were in there.
Bought this. You bought plenty
I was
of
with
stuff.
you. You're good.
You were looking around like, I need to buy more.
Yeah. So after that trip, we figured out how to space it out. We take a nap in the middle, kind of refresh ourselves, hit breweries. You kind of go at a little bit of a pace. And since we've done it for 10 years in a row, we don't try to hit all the breweries one day, because I'll be back next year and try this one or try that one. So
try new ones.
But that's always a good story. Everybody, we learned our lesson.
Yeah, that's a lesson taught right there.
But no one was like puking in the bathroom.
No.
It was just a bunch of just like...
No, and then I usually take an old guy, either my dad or my father-in-law, and they're the designated driver, because they'll have a few.
They'll have like 2 in the morning.
And then they're pretty much done for the day. Then they're sipping the rest. And the rest of us can have a good old time.
Have a good time.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome. That sounds like a blast, actually.
So the trip has evolved now. It's a 3-day thing, and we're drinking from almost touchdown in Sacramento.
Yeah,
till we're leaving.
So we fly into Sacramento, and the Southern California people drive up, and we meet at Knee Deep. That's why I brought up Knee Deep before. And then right down, like, what is it, 2 blocks away, there's... on
the other end of the plaza is another fantastic brewery called Moonraker.
Yeah.
And they share... they don't necessarily share a parking lot, but one's on one side of the building. You go to the other side, next corner, there it is.
Yep.
Fantastic breweries, 2 of them.
Yeah, so we always meet up there because it's a great starting point, and they're both like solid breweries. Like, no doubt, every beer that's in there is a quality beer. That's always a good start, and then you start, testing the waters.
You hit the road and you kind of make a plan and go, hey, and the next town over has 2 breweries. We're going to stop and check them out. Right?
That's good. Have you? We don't have to mention names, okay? But have you ever invited someone along? How big is your guys' party? Like that?
It fluctuates.
It's ranged.
Like 2 years ago, it was like 12.
Yeah.
13 people. It was we took quite a few from up here.
Yeah, and then they decided they don't want to go again. So.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, have you ever invited someone that's kind of like not the wet blanket, but like someone that's like who didn't appreciate what you guys were doing?
We had some Canadians, and
they wanted to nap.
Yes,
and they also they didn't like the whole bounce around thing. They wanted to. They got a flight. We go into a place a lot of time, not all the time, but most of the time we'll get like a flight. And we'll go through the flight, and we're like, okay, we got a nice sampling of this brewery, and we're going to move on to the next one. So they get a flight, and they bomb through that flight, and we're like, okay, that's kind of different. And then they go get a couple pints, and then we're like, all right, so we're ready to move on to the next one. We're like, oh, well, we were going to have a couple more pints. We want to hang out at this one. Like, I mean, that's cool, but we're on a beer adventure.
Yeah.
and we're going to new breweries. So kind of the point of the new event,
Sure.
is so on the reverse. Like when you go back down there, like we go down to both he and I go down to California quite a bit, and we'll go down there just with our families or just to hang out with friends.
Sure.
And that's where you go to a brewery and you sit down and you have lunch and you hang out for hours. We're on a beer adventure.
Yeah.
Like the point is beer. Like we're sampling new places and kind of getting the feel, the vibe, and we'll always give a place a second chance. It's not like we're like totally panning them if they're horrible the first time, because they could be brand new and
Sure.
they're working into stuff. But so the Canadians definitely.
They were tough.
They were tough.
They're nice guys, but they were tough.
Yeah, they legit went back to the we went back to the hotel to change clothes, and they stayed at the hotel for the rest of the evening. Yeah, when we hit like another
2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the opposite side then, have you ever gone with someone that you're like, you're going with us every single time now? Like you need to go with us. Like you try to talk them into it each year.
I don't know. Well, see, my group has evolved quite a bit, because initially it was just a few of us. Then I brought my father-in-law in. I brought Tyson's dad in, and kind of moved around. Then I moved up here. Then last year, Tyson brought a couple people from up further. So we kind of the group fluctuates. I think the only person that was kind of a guest that has managed to stick is Sean.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but
congratulations, Sean.
Because I can talk beer, and
Yeah,
he knows
and
beer.
obviously I can drink beer.
And you're focused. You're not.
Yeah.
Who cares for a nap? I don't care
right.
about a nap.
We're here to drink.
I'm here for the beer adventure.
Yeah,
For sure.
So, but yeah, and then Terry's kind of stuck. Terry's been to 3 now, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So,
Been to 3
and
of those.
Terry's
and,
from Boots Bar
and two GABS.
and 2 GABFs. Yeah,
Terry and I went solo. Yeah. Luis couldn't make it, and then last 2019.
we went. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's
All
the
3 of us went.
if it happens? What's the 2021 event?
Well, the next event
Would be GABF.
with GABF
is the biggest one. Well, it depends. The Father's Day, the Brewers,
the Washington State Father's Day. What is it
That's-
called? The beer.
yeah, it's the biggest beer event in Washington State, where it kind of showcases all the Washington State beers. It's kind of on the books right now, but that could get washed away.
Sure.
They're. I mean, as a brewer, they've already reached out to me whether I want to take up a booth and that sort of thing. But it's still kind of a, rules. We don't know if that's going to happen. That would be the next big event. That's a big one. So there's 300? Yeah, I want to say 300 breweries go to that. That's at Marimore Park up north. It's great. It's a 2-day event.
You got beer and music and all that, or is it
Yeah,
Yeah, beer, music, food.
Yep, food trucks and stuff. It's a great event. It's always better to kind of stay in the area because there's a lot of beers there. Going to an event like that, you got to. One day you choose I'm drinking light beers, and the next day I'm drinking all dark beers. You don't want to kind of mix it up. You want to stick to a thing because it's a lot of beer to drink. But that one's kind of iffy. And then right now, GIBF, which is in October of 2021,
Hopefully.
is
Hopefully.
on the
Crossed.
books.
Yeah, 2020 was canceled, so 2021 will be the next one.
Yeah, it turned into a virtual thing, which is
Not
not
worth
the
it.
same. Yeah,
Right.
They send you a box, but they don't only send you a box of 50 beers. Maybe?
I know that's like
like
in the
that.
first 30 minutes when you're there,
right? There's 3,000. There's over 3,000 beers to try.
Yeah, I think it's even more than that. And
Well, I
you
wouldn't
can
say
do-
there's 3,000 breweries.
Breweries.
3,000 breweries, and each brewery could have as many as I want to bring. So some bring 6 beers, some bring 3 beers. So
So there's over, I want to say, I think the last one was 5,000 to 6,000 beers.
Yeah.
And you can put a significant dent in them, believe it or not, because you're getting an ounce at a time.
That's what I was gonna say. So, have you guys ever done an honest remember getting on the school bus when they used to count getting on the school
well,
bus?
that's why we
Have-
check in the Untapped. We check in.
Okay, there you
And always
go.
focus on that.
So the reason
I
I
think
started
it's later though.
So pre-Untapped, many years pre-Untapped, one of the reasons I started taking pictures of my beer was, so one summer I had all my brothers-in-law and myself and my father-in-law, whatever, and Bevmo's big in Southern California. It's up here now, but it was there many years ago, the beer store, right?
Yeah.
They have tons of beer. So what we would do is we get together every weekend, and every weekend everybody bring a different 6-pack. So we could go through Bevmo, and then we could go through every single aisle and be like, had it, and you just look for weird shit that you haven't had yet.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a good beer, and I was feeling myself. I'll be a little spendy, right? I'm looking at the thing and it says, "Oh, this is one of the best Rausch beers in Germany."
Oh, whatever. I know this one.
And it's got this really fancy label, kind of looks like a scroll.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's got the brown.
It's
with
like
the red
$10
writing.
bottle, and it's maybe.
I've suffered through that same mistake like 3 times.
Right.
Like, I'm
So
like, oh,
it's not
cool
even.
bottle.
It's not even.
I forgot that I had it.
Yeah. So I said, well, I'm going to get this. I'm going to treat myself. So I get it home. I crack it. I pour it, and then I smell it. And it smells just like bacon. Oh. And I'm like, I like bacon, but I don't want to drink a beer that tastes like bacon.
No.
So I said, man, I'm going to remember that. I suffered through it. I drank it. Okay, fine. Fast forward about 2 years, and I'm feeling myself again. I'm going to get me a fancy beer. And I read that thing, and this one sounds great. As soon as I cracked it and smelled it, I'm like, I've had this before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna start taking pictures. That way I can remember if I have a question, I can look through my stuff.
Genius. Favorite the ones that you just hate.
Untapped is a little easier.
And so Untapped is easier. You can look at your ratings.
Well, you can search the name of the beer and it'll come up rather than scrolling through your pictures where you have 1,000 pictures of beer.
This was in the Flintstone era. There was no Untapped, right? I just had a picture.
Lucky you had a phone. Camera on your phone.
That's right.
You could have almost created Untapped and you'd be a billionaire right now.
Exactly. I had that idea, right? But yeah, that's the reason why I started taking pictures of beer. Because I got caught too many times.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to get into shout-outs. Shout-outs are, I'll let you think about it if you want, but shout-outs are just things that you would want to say. Before we get into shout-outs, Sean, make sure that we haven't skipped anything. I know you're grabbing your notes. Okay.
I was just double-checking.
All right, so we're hitting that hour mark, so I just want to make sure that. All right, so shout-outs. I'm going to shout out my wife and kids. Because right now, I've been recording nonstop. And the reason I record nonstop is because I know that I'm going to have to be in an airport for a while. And I know I got some
going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation. And so this is post-vacation that I'll be releasing this. But recording pre-vacation where I'll be sitting. And I'm not shouting out Southwest. And the reason I'm not shouting out Southwest is because they said, hey, here's a cheap flight. Book the cheap flight. And I booked the cheap flight, and then like a week later, like, oh hey, here's your cheap flight. By the way, it was nonstop, and now we're gonna move you to where you now have a connecting flight because we overbooked it. And then I look and I can still buy that freaking cheap flight that they moved me off of, and I'm upset about that. But so no shout out to Southwest. But shout out to my wife and kids that have been like for the past 2 weeks. I've been like every night recording, so I have plenty of editing time to do while I'm on these connecting flights just to get to a place that.
You have 3 connecting flights.
Yeah,
you're going to fly from here to Los Angeles to San Jose.
Yes.
San Jose.
It's the worst, especially when you leave Vegas. You just want to be gone. You want to be done. You want to be back in your own bed.
Yep.
And now I've got connecting flights to get back to my own house. So no shout out to Southwest, but shout out to my wife and kids. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. Well, I was going to. I feel like both Luis and I are going to shout out the same people. Tyson Beers, Southern California, and then Victor Guzman.
Yep.
Those are great guys. We go on beer trips every year.
The guy's name is Southern California.
Yeah. SoCal.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the same. I'm going to shout out my wife, who actually allowed me to come today.
That's very nice.
Oh, Annette is an amazing woman. She comes in the brewery all the time.
Oh, good.
She loves sour beers, but other than that, she'll just take a quick sip of everything. She'll try everything.
She's
but
a good designated driver.
I like that.
Great designated
driver.
driver.
I like that.
Doesn't really drink, so it works out good. And Tyson, Victor, the whole drinking crew from the Pliny trips is, like I said, this would have been the Pliny week. We should be shit faced somewhere in Southern California right now.
Yeah,
but
where it's nice and warm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. The one year we went down there, it was kind of rainy, but most of the time it's warm down there.
Nice. So, all right.
Wow. Well, right on. Well, and I also like to shout out Luis. Thank you for doing that. You said your wife's name was
Annette.
Annette. Thanks again, Annette, for lending us Luis for the night as we talk beers and hang out. Thanks so much for you guys listening. Go hit up Cole Street Brewery, 16. I said it weirdly.
Yep.
Cole Street Brewery, 1627 Cole Street.
Somebody's had a few beers.
I've had some beers tonight, and I haven't gone to the bathroom yet either, so it's even worse.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We need to have that break between the podcasts. Yeah, I should have learned the last time.
It's so bad. Anyways, please go visit them. And then mention Full Buddy Cast. Appreciate that. Just give us that. Just let Sean know that you listen and that, hey, you're here for the beers as well. And anyway, that's it. So thanks so much for listening. Have a great week and take care.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to Two Guys Brew, ha ha. Cole Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and